Hey guys, CryptoDad here again, and today it is my pleasure to introduce the latest product in the Ledger lineup, the Ledger Nano G5, or 5th generation Ledger Nano device. Coming in at $179, it finally brings touchscreen technology at an entry-level price. With this little device, you get a winning combination of ease of use and secure screen technology that will allow you to easily sign your crypto transactions safely and securely. In addition to that, this entry-level device supports all of the latest advanced features of Ledger hardware devices. And with the introduction of this product, Ledger is bringing about a sea change in how we think about and talk about crypto hardware wallets. The device itself will no longer be called a hardware wallet. It will be called a secure crypto signer because that's what it does. That's its function. Ledger Live will change its name to Ledger Wallet to reduce confusion. Now, there's all kinds of new exciting features in Ledger Wallet as well. But let's focus on the device today. Ledger has sent me an advanced copy, and I'm going to get it unboxed and set up for you guys so you can see it firsthand. So let's jump in. Okay, so here we go. Here's our Ledger Nano G5, our 5th generation. All right, and here we go. A beautiful little device, and also it comes standard with the Ledger recovery key, which is a quick and easy way of doing backups and restores. You're still going to need to write down your recovery phrase, but having the Ledger recovery key as a secondary backup will give you additional peace of mind knowing that you can easily do a restore should the need arise. I'll go ahead and peel this part off. Okay, there we go. So it's got a nice size screen. If we compare it to the Ledger Flex and the Ledger Stax, very similar in size. It might even be the same size as the Ledger Flex. Notice that the Ledger Stax and Flex are metal, and this is plastic, which reduces the cost. So a pretty interesting device here. Notice it has this little hole here that can be used for the badges, which are a vanity accessory that you can get to personalize your device. Pretty cool. You could also use this as maybe for a lanyard or something else as well. It has a USB-C connector on the bottom here and this beautiful touchscreen. So I did want to give you a quick overview of the specs of the Ledger Nano G5 compared to the other two touchscreen devices, the Ledger Flex and the Ledger Stax. The Ledger Nano G5 comes in at $179. It does have the exact same screen size as the Ledger Flex. It has a 2.8-inch active TFT e-ink display. The PPI is a little bit lower on the Ledger Nano G5. The Ledger Nano G5 has the exact same battery life as the other two touchscreens, has a 10-hour battery life. It has the exact same interfaces, USB, Bluetooth, and NFC. It also includes the Ledger recovery key as well. The Ledger Nano G5 does not have sounds. So that's one thing missing on the G5. Of course, the case is plastic as opposed to metal, and it does not have any magnets built into the case, so it's not stackable. But those are the major differences. Other than that, it's almost identical to the other two touchscreens at a much lower price. Let's take a look at what else is in the box. I mentioned the Ledger recovery key. The Ledger recovery key is a digital backup that is pin protected, just like the device. If someone were to get a hold of this recovery key, they only get 3 tries to use it, and then it resets itself. So it's a very safe and secure way of storing your backup. It uses NFC technology to interface with the device. All right, so in here we're going to get our documentation, our recovery sheets, and our USB cable. The recovery sheet is very important. This is where you write down your 24 words. And store them in a secure location. You can also make multiple copies of these. They give you 3, but you can basically write them on anything. But I encourage you to make more copies, hide them in secure locations. Best practice would be to store one off-site from your residence in case of fire, flood, or other types of disasters. You can store one in your bank safety deposit box or with a trusted friend or relative. And here's the USB-C cable that you get. It's the perfect size for a laptop, but it's a little short for desktop. But you can use any USB-C cable. You can use a longer cable if you wish. All right, so I'm going to go through the initial setup. I'll go ahead and plug it in. Notice they're using the new nomenclature. The is no longer called a hardware wallet. It's a digital signer, which is great. I love the fact that they've streamlined the language. So we just tap to continue. It's going to give us some information about how this device works. And then we're going to be using the Ledger Wallet app there. Notice it's got the new name for Ledger Live there as well. So we'll just tap here. I'll go ahead and set it up without Ledger Live, and then we'll add it later. We're going to set our name. All right, we'll confirm the name there, and there we go. We're going to set our PIN. All right, we'll tap to continue here. Now, we could do a restore from a Ledger recovery key, a restore from seed phrase, if we were going to migrate onto this device. But I'm going to set it up as a brand new device. So we'll just hit set up as new. It's going to give us those 24 words. All right, so let's go ahead and say we understand that. That's going to show us our 24 words. Takes about 10 minutes. You'll see a list here. Just get out your recovery sheet and write the words down. Make sure you write them in the correct slot here because the order is very important. All right, and once you've written the first 4 words down, just tap next. It'll take you to the next set of words. All right, and then when you're done with that, it's going to ask you to verify the words, so refer to your list. It's going to show you word number 1 and give you a choice of 4 words. Just check the word you wrote down in slot number 1 and tap it. All right, and once you've confirmed the recovery phrase, you can tap to continue. It tells you to keep it safe. No one will ever ask you for this. Please don't let any scammer trick you into revealing your seed phrase. All right, now it's going to give us the option of creating a digital backup. As I mentioned earlier, we get one of these Ledger recovery keys, so we can just take that out and get ready here. Just say you have a Ledger recovery key, hold it to the back. All right, it's going to have you get that thing set up. You'll set a PIN, just like you do on your hardware device, and then you'll confirm that. All right, and once you've created the PIN, you'll create the digital backup by holding the device to the back of your signer. All right, and then we'll just tap to continue. We can give the digital backup a name as well. I'll call it the same name as the signer, and you'll confirm that. And you need to enter the PIN of the card. All right, and then the last step would be just holding it to the back here to confirm that PIN. All right, and now we can connect the device to Ledger Live and start managing our crypto. All right, so for the software, we want to go over to the official ledger.com page. We'll go over here to apps and services, and I'm going to download Ledger Live. By the time this video posts, they will most likely have changed the name to Ledger Wallet, but bear with me, I have an advanced copy. So I'll download Ledger Live from my platform, which is Windows. I'll just drop this in my downloads folder. All right, we can just double click that. All right, we'll go ahead and run the installer here, and then we can run Ledger Live when we're done. We'll go ahead and get started here. You can refuse these metrics if you want to. They're not required. Since I have an advanced copy, my device isn't in this list yet, but that's fine. I can still go forward. Just choose your G5 as you're setting it up. I've already done the setup. I've written down my seed phrase, so we'll go here where it says already have a recovery phrase, and I'll just connect my device. It wants to do the genuine check, so I'll click check my nano. You want to make sure the device is unlocked. All right, it passed the genuine check. We don't have any accounts set up, so in the portfolio section, it gives us the option of adding an account. So we'll hit add account here. We'll choose the crypto we want to manage. We'll choose Bitcoin, and then continue. It's going to check to see if we have the app installed on our device. Right? If it doesn't find the Bitcoin app on the device, it will install it for us. All right, you can see the Bitcoin app has been installed, and then it's going to ask us to open it. All right, once the Bitcoin app is open, it's going to scan the device for any existing wallets. If it doesn't find one, it's going to offer us the option of creating an empty Bitcoin wallet. There we go. And I like to name them accordingly, depending on the device I'm using. That way I can keep all my devices straight. You can manage more than one device in Ledger Live. All right, we've created an empty Bitcoin wallet. So, and we can go to accounts here and see we've got a Bitcoin account there. Let's go ahead and add one more. We'll add Ethereum. We'll hit continue. And then it's going to check to see if the device has the Ethereum app. If it doesn't find it, it will install it for us. So you can see over here it's installing the Ethereum app, and then it's going to ask us to open it. All right, once the Ethereum app is open, it can scan for any existing Ethereum wallets. If it finds none, it will offer us the option of creating an empty one. Okay, so we've created 2 accounts now. If we wish to fund these accounts, we just need to send some crypto in there. So we can start with our Bitcoin account. We'll hit receive, and then it's going to want to do the hardware check. It'll ask us to open the Bitcoin app, and then it's going to ask us to verify the address. So you can see the address here on your screen in Ledger Live, and you just need to confirm it's the same address on the device. You'll want to copy that address into your clipboard. All right, so you'll swipe over and check the address to make sure it matches what you see on your screen, and you'll hit confirm. All right, now that we have that address in our clipboard, we need to go over to our favorite cryptocurrency exchange and transfer some Bitcoin into this wallet. So I'll go over to my Kraken account. All right, you can see in my Kraken account I have some Bitcoin and Ethereum, some small test amounts, and what we want to do is withdraw the Bitcoin. So I'll click withdraw, I'll choose Bitcoin, I'll choose the Bitcoin network, and then I've never used this wallet before, so it's a brand new address. As far as my Kraken account is concerned, I'll choose add withdrawal address and paste in that address. Right, that's the hard part. We just need to give this withdrawal address a name. So I can call this one Nano G5. And then I'll just confirm that in my email. All right, I'll just hit confirm address. And then I can go back over here. And that new address is in there. I'll just go ahead and send that small test amount from my Kraken to my Nano G5. Confirm. We can do the same thing with the Ethereum. We'll go back over here to the Ethereum account, hit receive, and we're going to do that hardware check again. So when we hit continue, it wants us to open the Ethereum app on the device. All right, so we'll open the Ethereum app, and then it's going to show us an address that we should verify. Make sure we copy this address into our clipboard before we do that, because it will disappear after we've verified it. All right, we'll swipe. Check that address, make sure it matches, and then hit confirm. All right, we can hit done here. We'll go back over to Kraken. We'll go to the portfolio. We'll make that withdrawal. We'll choose Ethereum on the Ethereum network. And this is a brand new address. I've never used it before, so I need to add it as a new withdrawal address. I'll paste in that Ethereum address. We can give this one a nickname. We can call it Nano G5, but it has to be unique, so I'm going to put Ethereum on there. All right, so we'll add that. I'll confirm that in email. All right, and then I can go back here. Now that I have that address in my list, we'll choose it. I'll send that small test amount that I've got over to my Nano G5. And there we go. We'll go back here. The Bitcoin came in. It hit the wallet already, so we can see that came in. It's not totally confirmed on the blockchain yet. That's why it's orange. But as long as you see it come into the wallet, you know it's in there, safe and sound. It's just not spendable yet. All right, and you can see that the Ethereum has hit the wallet now. That's good news. So we've got 2 wallets, and then we can check our total balance up here. So you can see it shows the balances, the total balances, and the transaction history. That's what the software is for. The device, as I mentioned, is just a signer, and it confirms the addresses, right? It holds the private key, so it can confirm that the addresses are correct. We can do our hardware verification, and we can sign our transactions with the device. All right, so the last thing I want to cover is signing an outgoing transaction, which is very important. You know, I've showed you how to set up the device, how to set up Ledger Live, how to get your accounts in there, and how to fund them. Those are all very important. You need to be familiar with the process of transferring the crypto out of the wallet as well. So we'll practice that by just sending the crypto back where it came from. You can see now that they've totally confirmed on the blockchain, so we're good there. I'm just going to go back over here to my Kraken account, and this time I'll do a deposit, and I'll tell it that I'm making a deposit of Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network, and then it gives me the address, right? I can just copy that into my clipboard, and then I'll go back over to my Ledger wallet. We'll go into the Bitcoin portfolio, and then click here to go into the Bitcoin account, right? We can do it that way, or we can go to accounts directly and then click on the Bitcoin account from there. We need to be in this interface here where we've got the buttons at the top. So we'll hit send, and then we'll paste in the Bitcoin address of my Kraken account, right? I can double check that by just checking that address on Kraken. It's the same address. All right, so we'll hit continue, and then we need to give it the amount. I'll just send the max. I'll just send it back out. That's going to cost me about 36 cents in blockchain fees. We'll hit continue here. Now here's the important part. I need to make sure I have the device connected and unlocked, right? We'll hit continue. This is what the device should look like when it's connected and unlocked. You'll see the apps on your home screen. It determines that I need the Bitcoin app to be open. So we'll open the Bitcoin app. All right, and here's the important part. We'll hit continue, and here is where we sign the transaction. So it'll say review. You'll just swipe. You'll look at the transaction there that you're sending, all the information, the amount, the destination, and the fees. And then the last step is hold to sign. That's what we mean by we've got a signer here. We're signing the transaction. Hold this check mark down, and we're done on the device. We'll just go back over to Ledger Live, and the transaction has been sent out. You'll see in your transaction history, you've got that incoming and then an outgoing now. Right, let's go ahead and do the same thing with the Ethereum. We'll go into the Ethereum account. We're going to do a send. We need the address of where we're sending, right? The destination. So we'll get the destination from Kraken. All right, so we're going to make another deposit on Kraken, and we tell them that we're depositing some Ethereum on the Ethereum network. We'll hit I understand here, and then that's the Ethereum address of my Kraken account. We'll hit copy. We'll go back over here, and then we paste in that destination address. It says auto verification not available. That just means that they can't auto verify across the blockchain, which is fine. Happens sometimes on exchanges. This is not an error. This is just a warning. So it says make sure you verify the address. So we'll look at the address carefully, go back to Kraken, make sure that the address is correct. All right, when you verified it, you'll hit continue. We'll go ahead and send the max again. It's just a small amount. We'll hit continue, continue. And now it's telling me I need to have the Ethereum app open. So we'll open the Ethereum app. Now it's asking me if I want to enable transaction check. Transaction check is an advanced feature that we can use to make sure we're not sending to a malicious address. It's a great new feature available on Ledger devices and in Ledger Live. So we'll hit yes, enable. Now it wants us to review. The first thing it tells us here is no threat detected by transaction check, which is great, right? We're just sending to a standard Kraken account. All right, we can swipe over and we'll see all the details, where it's coming from, the amount over here, where it's going to, and the fees. And then the last step is to hold and sign the transaction by holding the check mark down. It says transaction signed. And then it says transaction sent. We can see in our transaction history that we've sent out the Ethereum. And the wallet should be empty now because we're just doing a couple demos here. And then we'll just go to the destination and wait for our transfers to hit our accounts. Yeah, you can see the balance has gone down to 0 there. All right, so that's it. That's a full demo of the Ledger Nano G5, the 5th generation Ledger Nano device. Very similar to the way you do things on the Ledger Flex and the Ledger Stax, only at a much better price point. If you have any questions about anything I did, please throw them up in the comments and I'll do my best to get them answered.